Edinburgh was once one of the most crowded cities in Europe, dirty, dangerous, and yet one of the smartest places on earth. In the early 1700s, Edinburgh was Scotland's capital, a medieval city built for defence, not comfort. Most people in 1700s Edinburgh lived along the Royal Mile, the main spine of the old town. Tall stone buildings stood tightly packed together, some rising as high as 10 stories. Inside, families shared small, crowded rooms, often with neighbours living just a wall away. These towering tenements weren't signs of wealth. They were a necessity in a city running out of space. Edinburgh was dangerously overcrowded. Rich and poor lived under the same roofs, often separated by only a few floors. Entire families slept, worked, and ate in single rooms. Privacy was almost unknown, and noise never truly stopped. In this city, space was a luxury few could afford, and overcrowding shaped every part of daily life. In 1700s, Edinburgh, there was no running water and no sewer system. Most homes had no toilets at all. Instead, waste was collected in buckets and thrown directly into the streets below. At night, people would lean out of their windows and shout a warning before emptying them. If you were walking below, you had only seconds to move. The streets were muddy, foul-smelling, and often covered in filth. Rain did little to clean them. It simply spread the mess further. These conditions weren't unusual. They were a normal part of daily life in the old town. In 1707, Edinburgh faced a turning point. Scotland's independent parliament was dissolved, and political power moved to London. Many people in the city felt angry and betrayed, believing their voice had been taken away. Protests and unrest followed, filling the streets with tension. Though the Union brought future economic benefits, at the time it felt like a loss of independence. For Edinburgh, the Union was not just political, it was emotional. The city had lost its parliament, but not its identity. Lawyers, churches, and courts kept Edinburgh important, even as decisions were made elsewhere. This tension between pride and power would shape the city for decades to come. In 1745, history returned to Edinburgh with the sound of marching feet. A young claimant to the throne, known as Bonnie Prince Charlie, led a Jacobite army toward the city. When his forces arrived, Edinburgh offered little resistance. The city gates were opened, and the Jacobites marched in peacefully. For a brief moment, the balance of power seemed to shift. Holyrood Palace became the prince's court, and celebrations filled the streets. But beneath the excitement, uncertainty lingered. The city knew this moment would not last, and that consequences would follow. The Jacobite hope ended in 1746 at the Battle of Culloden. It was brief, brutal, and decisive. Government forces crushed the Jacobite army in less than an hour. What followed was even harsher. Highland communities were punished, traditions were banned, and clan power was broken. Tartans, weapons, and even language were restricted. Edinburgh was spared destruction, but the mood of the city changed. Fear replaced rebellion, and the dream of restoring the old order was finally over. As rebellion faded, a different kind of revolution began. In the late 1700s, Edinburgh became one of the most important centres of thought in Europe. Writers, philosophers, and scientists gathered to question how the world truly worked. They believed in reason, evidence, and open debate. Figures like David Hume challenged traditional beliefs. while Adam Smith reimagined how economies function. Their ideas were discussed in homes, universities, and crowded taverns across the city. Edinburgh earned a new name, the Athens of the North. From a city once defined by hardship, it emerged as a place where ideas could change the world. By the mid-17th century, Edinburgh's Old Town could no longer cope with its own success. Overcrowding, disease, and decay pushed the city to its limits. So Edinburgh did something radical. It planned an entirely new city from the ground up. Wide streets replaced narrow closes. Light, space, and order became the new priorities. This new town reflected the ideas of the Enlightenment itself: balance, reason, and progress. It transformed Edinburgh into a modern European capital. Today, the contrast between the old town and the new town still tells this story. A city shaped by hardship, rebuilt by ideas. This was life in the 1700s Edinburgh.